Hello. My name is Sin. Today I'm going to go over how to request cardstock print from Focusattack. This is primarily for the ASI level ABC leverless controller. This also applies to the WSD versions if you have artwork already set up for that. I'm going to go to the Focusattack website. I will include the link in the description for the video. Get to here. This is where they'll provide the template. When you scroll down the description, there will be a custom panel template. Click that and it'll go to your download. So make sure you go to your download wherever you have that specified to go ahead and get the zipped folder. And then you will open that up in whichever suite that you are going to put the artwork in for the template. And you're going to basically say if you have art already created on the ASI's provided template and you did all that already, in that case, from their ASI website that they have the template here. If you've already done your artwork on there, we're going to go ahead and basically approach it from how to move that from there to the Focusattack template. If you already have that, you can technically import all that stuff over to the Focusattack template and work from there. I prefer to do mine from the template and the ASI provides and then save it so I have a working copy and I keep all my layers there. I usually do a merge copy and move it over to Focusattack so it's one clean piece of artwork instead of multiple layers. Especially when I'm moving stuff around, it just makes it easier than wondering if a certain layer is not moving appropriately. It's just one piece. It also helps condense the size when you save and go to upload it as well. So that you can basically import it there. But what I'll show you is what I did for Focusattack was I put 2 copies of my front artwork, since I only had front artwork, on the template, since it covers an 11 by 17 up to the red border is what they'll print. I find it nice as a contingency in case I make a mistake when I go to cut this out. Especially for people that are uncomfortable and they don't want to make any mistakes or there's something going on. It's just a nice backup. You could also approach it from they provide ASI, they provide back that you can do artwork for as well. ID. It looks a little bit washed out. That's just because in the Photopia photo editing software that I'm using, well, it's not technically software. They do have a install for it. I will include the link for this for people that say are approaching this and they're not utilizing a Photoshop suite and aren't comfortable with using GIMP, which is open source and free, or they don't have a working copy of Adobe Photoshop, which I use to do my artwork. This will be a free kind of solution to do that. This looks a little bit washed out, but that's just because it's zoomed out so much. The lines are pretty thin on the ASI's template, but if you see me zoom in, it'll start coming into focus about that. So, but I was saying about the back template, anti-slip and level bottom, you can put artwork on the back. So instead of like where I did 2 copies of the front, you could do a copy of the front and the back so you can have both art prints on the one order. And that's if you have that all mapped out or you plan on doing that. I would suggest that just to save you from having to do 2 prints. They're going to print everything within that red border as I have stated. So it would be wasteful to do 2 prints in my opinion for this much real estate. So it just makes sense to condense it all, get everything that you would like all done in one fell swoop. So how did I get to here? All right. So I had my template, and essentially what I did was I did all my artwork on the ASI's provided template. And then I went ahead and merged everything. So let me merge. I'm gonna go to layers, merge layers. Now all of my graphics that I did, all the layers I did that were kind of that were overlaid are all one piece of artwork. Now I can, since I only have the front, I'm going to go ahead, hold the graphic, scroll to the template, copy. This is a blank Focusattack template. Hide the instructions like they suggest, and paste it. Like the background white is covering it. Drop it down a layer, and now I can see both of these. So what I would suggest doing, or to, now that both of these are here, I'm gonna go to edit, transform, and I'm gonna rotate them. Actually, no. Before we do that, I'm gonna make since I'm doing 2 copies, right? I'm just going to Control B, and I have copies. So this will make it a little bit easier from those that are a little bit of OCD. Kind of do it all together. Now, when I select all 4 of these, so the main originals and the copies. Now, when I go to Edit, Transform, and then Rotate, all of them will be aligned. Now I can hold Shift to get a little bit more. I'm using Shift and arrow keys to kind of move it. You can use your mouse, but I just kind of want it a little bit lined up instead of having it jerk around. So Control Z, and I'm go ahead and hold Shift and use the arrow keys. I'm holding down right now. And I'm gonna kind of line it in the middle in a sense. I did mine originally to the red borders, but if you're worried about anything not necessarily being printed out, you can go to just about. In Photopia, I'm using the Control and mouse scroll wheel to go left and right, and then just to go up and down, I'm using the mouse and scroll wheel. And then Zoom, I'm using Control plus and Control minus, if you're wondering how I'm doing that right now. So, but I have this basically set out to here. So these are both aligned. So now what I can do is go to the copies, hold Shift, and select these 2. Now I can hold Shift and come out. As you can there, Control. You have a considerable amount of space to work with. And due to the level's size is pretty accommodating and compact, I was able to utilize both of these within that amount of real estate that Focusattack provides. So now we have these done. Make it clean. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna take the top copy, which is the layer I have set for that. I'm going to go ahead and go layer, merge layers. Same thing with the main graphic. Control, I hold it down, layer, merge layers. Perfect. So now when I hide sorry about that. It's a little bit, this template is a little bit faded out since I did some stuff from the template and it didn't make a clean copy of the template. But essentially I already have it. Same thing with, So that one, it would look normally like that. Mine's a little washed out because I did some buffoonery on my my artwork template. I copied a clean one over in my case, but typically you wouldn't have the kind of washed out version that I do on this one. This one is a little bit washed out. I messed up that one a little bit, but the logic is there. So then I have the main graphics. So what I do is, where it says to add custom artwork here, I just click on that layer and copy the name of it, add artwork here, since that's the layer there. You delete that one. And then artwork, top one, go ahead, add custom. Go ahead and delete that. And then you'd have them both lined up. And then essentially you would go ahead and go to Focusattack. You would choose the file after you save everything. So add the file called mine, the Null Venom. Go ahead and upload that, add to cart, choose whether you want white paper or holographic, and the pattern you want the holographic texture to be in, add to cart, and then you would essentially be done. They do show like the difference between the white cardstock and the holographic paper. Make sure you kind of plan out your colors accordingly. If you're using dark colors, understand it's going to come out dark, pretty dark. So if kind of like try to make stuff a little bit lighter so you don't lose or choose more vibrant colors if you don't want to lose out on some of the detail. They're pretty vivid and well done in my opinion for the prints. Let's see. Say you don't have artwork set up already. How did I get everything set up? I have all the cutouts already for the art as part of the template and imported like this. Good question. Cover that. So I'm gonna close out custom one, and I'm just gonna open up template. Right. For this, I'm gonna demo. I have a blank template that I just took a Puma wallpaper. It's from Street Fighter vs. Tekken. Kind of stretched it out over the size of the entire template for the ABC top. And then if I zoom out, so I have that, right? When you include the template, it basically allows you just to provide you cutouts for the buttons. You could also technically probably do all that in a merge or anything. If you're concerned about it just being as one part, or worried that for whatever Focusattack doesn't print out the the template or anything like that, you can all merge it. I did mine just I wasn't sure how it would turn out with the template and whether they would print it out as just a one poster board or not, but just in case I went ahead and just subtracted it so I could see what it would look. It also gives you a pretty good breakdown of what their finished product would be, so that's why I approached it from just cutting out from the template for the art. How do we get there, right? I'm gonna go ahead and select the layer for the top. You can also do it for WASD as well. So like, you know what? For this one, we'll just do the WASD version since we already kind of demoed the top for the ABC. And of course, there shouldn't be any difference for the flip bottom. Yeah, so the anti-slip shows basically where they had the EVA padding on your lap or desktop, and keep that in mind if you're going to do art. You don't want anything cut off, so you can art there. Up, WASDA. And then what I do is I kind of select the outside. This is my bad. I'm gonna go ahead and select the outlayer outside of this. This way kind of just everything around the template is highlighted with the magic wand. I'm gonna select while the wand is still active. I'm gonna click on this layer, press delete. I have to select and now it's extracted from there. Since I kind of stretched out the graphic a lot when I downloaded it, there's probably some that wasn't removed since it's not showing up in this canvas right here. So if I were to go ahead and like move it, see there's some outliers since I couldn't wand that part. So you might need to just erase that manually, but be a big issue. And now say you're gonna go ahead and you want to do cutouts, and you have a darker, artwork, and you're worried about it, the template not showing through. I go ahead and I'm gonna hide the Akuma. I'm going to use the magic wand. It looks a little washed out, but it's just the zoom level and the zoom in. Click this. Now I'm gonna hold shift and then left click, left click, left click, left click. These are all the cutouts. Dude. These. Hide that. Layer. Delete. So now it is subtracted the in part where we'll be basically cutting around for the template. What you can also do is if you're worried about having, like, when you're doing the cutout and it's white, you can do a kind of I had a copy of the original one I did, and I set up an opacity so that behind it is the same art, but with a little bit less vivid color density. So then, so as you can see, there's still the coloring behind it, even though, it's a little bit more opaque. I think I set mine to around 74-75%. That way when you cut, and you say you have some white exposure, you don't do a full clean cut, you can still differentiate where the template is, where you're going to be cutting around. But say if you miss something and there's not just a white spot there, you could do that, but it's up to you. And you could also do that for the background. You subtract the background from the template as well, like the top, if you want to. Demo. So this pretty much gives a nice breakdown on where I would be cutting out and how it would look. And I could go ahead and then say add that to the template as well. Plaza looks clean. Doesn't look like I lost any. So let's just go ahead and do the same kind of thing for this one as a demo. Right. Include that one. I kind of like the clean white though. What I'll do is I will take the cutout one without the backing, the opaque backing, and I'm going to take the WASD top layers, Control D, Control V on the new one. Move it into the middle. Like I said, there's some trim that we need to get rid of. I already had this moved with the both of them, so I'm going to go ahead and select. I'm going to take just a rectangle tool, highlight, and delete the excess. And this is just to give you an idea if you're working from scratch and just want to put something together. I think typically people would either commission artwork or do it on their own, but keep in mind if you're doing commission artwork, you know, you might provide the template for them, and they can do it for you. But if you're just doing like commissioned art, just be careful of what might be subtracted or cut when you fit it, depending on the size of the art you get done, art that you do. We have this. Do again. Copy. Now I have a copy. Control. Have all the copies together. Same thing as I did before. Edit. Rotate 90 degrees. Hold in Shift. Keying it in. I originally went to the red line, but you can kind of just get semi-close there if you're worried about, for whatever reason, it not being printed. Now we're going to copy. We'll just overlay any. Move it out. And you see where I'm going with this. I hope so. And we'll just go to there. Right? Bada bing, bada boom. Same thing like I did before. Like the copy of and the original. Merge the layers. Edit. Boom. Layer, merge layers. Beautiful. Then go on the template one that I named template. I hide these, you'll see the template. I'm gonna zoom in. You can see where it's nice and cut out. This might be, since we did the cutout, the template might be a little bit redundant as we kind of cut out from the artwork. But you know, some people like the safety. I noticed when I did the printout that I did include the template. It might just be the way it's printed, but it's a little bit beveled from the regular cardstock. Like you could feel a clean where this is where the art is and this is the regular cardstock. So there's nothing wrong with necessarily adding the template there, just in case. I can't confirm 100% since I went ahead and did the subtractive method from the get-go, but I just went ahead. Me personally, I added the template still. Anyway, back to where we were. We're going to go ahead. Work here. We're going to go ahead. The name layer. Now we're going to go ahead. From the layer to, and now we have essentially what we're going to submit to Focusattack. This is for double print. Obviously, I merged the layers so that whenever I move them, they're just, if I were to do some adjustments, it would do both of the ones for the art and the template. If I were to move them, it makes it easier instead of having it kind of like off-centered or moving one separate from the other. I find it a little bit easier to approach just to have them all kind of put together. It's getting printed off as one piece anyway. I think that covers that much. So, what does it look like? All right. So, what my final print kind of ended up looking like. Get it ready. As you can see, second, sorted. Essentially, what came out. Focus. So lighting is used. There we go. I apologize. I'm getting trolled by my webcam, but it comes out a little bit darker. Very, very clean in my opinion. And but yeah, just that's how I went about making sure I had two prints from basically the same order. I find it very helpful. You don't have to worry about having to do like using this large 11 by 17 to print, you know, which is essentially, I believe, what is the size of the level is 10.75 inches by 7.5 inches. So it just makes sense to utilize all that real estate to print your order. So I hope that kind of goes over it and gets you going in the right direction. Like I said, I do copies as backups, but like I went over, can't hurt to have the back, if you have back artwork, done in the same job as well. I think that about wraps it up. If you have any questions, feel free to leave some comments. If there's any other things I need to elaborate on, feel free to let me know and I'll see what I can provide any information. And I think that's about it. I'll leave any other things that come to mind that might be assistive tools in the description, and I hope this assisted even to a moderate degree. Take it easy.